The ghost looked up at the 2-story high long-tailed snake demon in front of him and felt a little inferior. It's so big! But the ghost did not hesitate. At Qinfeng's signal, she jumped onto the snake girl's shoulder. She put one hand on her neck and then sat on her left shoulder. It must be said that although this girl has a good figure, she is indeed petite. Sitting on the snake girl's shoulder, she is only about the same height as the snake girl's head. Two beauties, one big and one small, sitting on each shoulder. Although this picture is pleasing to the eye, it always feels a bit strange. It looks okay if you swim on the water. It's best to sit on her shoulders, otherwise you will be soaked in water on her tail, Qinfeng thought to himself. Then he said to the snake girl, "You usually rest in this park. I will notify you when you need it." If it comes to daily action, Qinfeng is definitely better off riding Osiris. After all, being able to fly is the kingly way, and you can cross many obstacles that cannot be passed. As for the snake girl, Samia, just let her rest for now. If there is any action that needs to cross the sea, let her go. Hearing Qinfeng's order, the snake girl Samia nodded coldly, as if she was too lazy to talk. Qinfeng didn't care. It can be seen that this snake girl has this personality. It is unlikely to expect her to be as jumpy as Osiris. But anyway, she is my mount. Although she has complete intelligence, she can't disobey my orders. Nor can she attack anyone without my orders. Qinfeng doesn't have to worry about her harming the ghost. This is the limitation of the godforsaken game. However, if you use the Judgment Blade to send it into the Judgment Land, and then find a way to send it out that will bypass the restrictions of the godforsaken game, Qinfeng still needs to be cautious with this method. Even for Mom Virginie, you can't trust her too much. Of course, after entering the Judgment Land, Qinfeng can check the other party's memory, so to some extent, many risks can be avoided. After arranging the snake girl mount, Qinfeng continued to check other spoils. The most important one is a legendary ring for all profession, and a brand new ancient godstone tablet. There is also a diamond level skill book, Shadow of Sorrow. The Shadow of Sorrow skill is one of Qinfeng's main means of output at present, which can directly quadruple his output. Of course, it is only limited to when the target does not move much, or when Qinfeng is fast enough. Otherwise, the general epic boss has high agility and moves very fast, instantly leave the attack range of the Shadow Clone, thus avoiding most of the attacks of the Shadow Clone. Level 30 Shadow of Sorrow skill. Learn it now. After Qinfeng studied this skill book, he found that the level of Shadow of Sorrow was increased from 18 to 30, and the damage caused by the Shadow Clone was still 100% without any change. But the basic cooling time was reduced from 60 seconds to 48 seconds. The final cooldown time was reduced from 12.79 seconds to 23 seconds. It only reduced the cooldown by 2 seconds. It's better than nothing. Qinfeng shook his head, a little disappointed. In fact, if it weren't for the skill book, which can only be learned at level 30, he would have just given it to Guiling. Although Guiling can't evolve skills and can only create a shadow clone. Learning this skill will double her burst damage. It's a pity that she can't learn it now. After all, she still needs 1 or 2 months to reach level 30, so there's no rush to give it to her. Then, Qinfeng looked at the legendary ring. Elemental Burst Power Legend, universal for all professions. All attributes plus 49. Cooling speed plus 249%. Required level 29. Unique special effect. Burst. Your attack casting speed with elemental damage is increased by 72%. Unique special effect. Expansion. Your attack skill range with elemental damage is increased by 100 to 90%. This ring is originally a top-notch item for magic professions. Not to mention all the attributes, the 249% cooling rate is extremely important for any player, and the 2 special effects, one to increase casting speed, and the other to increase attack and skill range, are both excellent attributes. Of course, for Qinfeng, this ring is also perfectly suitable, because now that Qinfeng has learned the blessing of the Thunder Fairy, all attacks will add 75% additional thunder element damage. It is equivalent to all his attacks and skills can benefit from the effect bonus of the legendary equipment Elemental Burst Power. All attack ranges are tripled. All attacks and casting speeds are increased by 72%. If Qinfeng could originally to release 4 Shadow Blades, now he can release 6-7 Shadow Blades. Originally, his burst combo took 0.3 seconds. If he was dealing with an epic boss normally, he might be beaten by the opponent, but now it only takes 2 seconds. Although this equipment did not directly increase Qinfeng's damage, but it greatly increased his DPS. Although, Qinfeng does not need to look at the affix of DPS at this stage. The most important thing is that he can be more comfortable when facing some agile boss. For example, if the 5th level of the killer state is reached, the killing executioner will be attracted. If the speed is not fast enough, no matter how high the attribute is, it will not be the opponent's opponent. On the contrary, as long as the speed is fast enough, even the killing executioner can be played by Qinfeng. This is the importance of speed. It is also an important attribute throughout the game of Gods Abandoned from beginning to end. It does not mean that speed is important in the early stage and unimportant in the later stage. Whenever you have an advantage in speed, you can take the initiative in the God-Forsaken game. I have a ring with a balanced 3 attribute, 3 phase ring, and a Witch Alienation ring that adds 25% skill range. I can only replace the Witch Alienation ring. It is worth mentioning that the original Witch Alienation ring had the effect of Cursed Slate of the Ancient God of Natural Disaster, which obtained a 369% cooling speed. But the cooling speed attributes from other sources were invalid. In the early days, the effect of this Cursed Slate can be said to have greatly improved Qinfeng's strength. But now, 369% cooling speed is not too high. The most important thing is, this new elemental burst power has a built-in 249% cooling, plus the current 143-44% cooling speed attribute of the Judgment Blade, which adds up to a cooling speed of 392-44%. It has exceeded the positive effect given by the Cursed Slate of the Ancient God of Natural Disaster. In other words, another Ancient God Slate was released, which can be used to add other effects. So, I now have 2 free slates. Sanfeng replaced the Witch Alienation ring with the Elemental Explosion power, and the cooling speed not only did not decrease, but increased a little. Then he looked at the Greedy Space, a brand new Ancient God Slate, Blessing Slate of the Dream Goddess. This slate contains the blessing power from the Dream Goddess Lutus. Active use. Add blessing to any equipment, and the blessing will randomly provide a gain affix based on the equipment and your professional characteristics. Qinfeng checked the status of his Ancient God Tablet. Cursed Tablet of the Ancient God of Natural Disasters. Vacant. Blessed Tablet of the Ancient God of Blood. Attached to the Blade of Judgment Nightmare plus 4. 3. Cursed Tablet of the Goddess of Extreme Love. Attached to the Assassination Hood buff. Kill Refresh Special Effect cooldown. Negative. Special effect duration is shortened by 67%. Blessed Tablet of the Dream God. Vacant. The newly obtained Blessed Tablet can be used directly once. Qinfeng used it directly on the Star-Killing Blade. You have added the Blessing of Lutus to the Tyrone the Three Maker, Star-Killing Blade Legendary. Blessing of Lutus. Benefit affixed. The value of the upper affix of this equipment is increased by 49%. Do you want to keep this blessing? Yes, no. When Qinfeng heard the system prompt, his eyes lit up immediately. This effect is not bad. You should know that the upper affix on the Starkiller Blade is the 33-6 stripping affix. The stripping affix is the most important affix for fighting boss in the middle and late stages. It is basically It's basically difficult to kill the legendary boss in the future. The importance of stripping affix is self-evident. Qinfeng directly chose to keep the blessing. It's a pity that it is a blessing. If the Cursed Slate brought a negative affix with little effect, wouldn't it make the upper affix value on this equipment multiply several times? Qinfeng shook his head. The Cursed Slate Egg is good, but most of the negative affixes are disgusting. Qinfeng can't even imagine it. For example, this is a Cursed Slate, which adds 200% of the upper affix value to this equipment. Then its negative state is likely to make the upper affixes of other equipment on the body invalid, or make all other attributes of this equipment invalid. Similar to this, the probability of occurrence is very high, so the Cursed Slate is hard to brush, but the Blessed Slate is okay. Basically anything brushed can be relatively useful. When Qinfeng retained the blessing effect of the Dream Goddess Lutus this time, the stripping affix value on the Killer Starblade was directly increased from 33.6 to 50.64. Adding the 29.5 stripping affixes on the 3-phase ring, the total is 79.564. If this is a little more, I can strip all the upper affixes of other players with a casual knife. Qinfeng smiled. This is the effect of legendary equipment combined with the Ancient God Slate. If other players can own a set of legendary equipment, they will be as amazing as Qinfeng now in some aspects. In the previous life, Qinfeng's stripping affixes have exceeded 100, and there is an average upper resistance of more than 400. If it is at this stage, it will also crush other players. So, the real abnormality is actually Qinfeng's development speed, which makes him ahead of other players by many major versions. After finishing the Ancient God Slate, Qinfeng put the Cursed Slate of the Ancient God of Natural Disaster back to the Greedy Space. This slate is currently empty, and you can brush a good attribute again by killing monsters. In addition, there is nothing Qinfeng can use from the loot he got from the Snake Girl Samiya. There are many legendary equipment and skill books, but they are all from other professions. And there are even core skill books of other professions. But Qinfeng will naturally not circulate them for the time being. First, no one can afford the price. And second, the level is too high. No one can use it. I can only save it first, and wait until the player level is higher in the future. Finally, Qinfeng took out 2 diamond equipment that the ghost could use from the box where he stored his things, in the Evil Spirit Academy. These 2 pieces of equipment are okay. Just use them for now. Qinfeng threw the equipment to the ghost. Giling took it and looked at it, and was immediately amazed. These 2 pieces of equipment, a pair of gloves, with an additional 9x weak point attack multiplier, and a ring with a 2/4 instant death affix. They are all top level equipment with extremely high value at this stage. But in the shadow, it is just okay. Make do with it. Just at this moment, Qin Feng received a private message from An Yu, which sounded very urgent. Master, are you free now? Something happened in the Zhanghai ruins, and the statue in the middle was activated. It turned out to be an epic boss. Qin Feng was a little confused when he received this news. He was so fierce that the boss was activated at this time. In the last life, this boss was not opened until 2 years later, because no one thought that the statue would be an epic boss. It was opened so early, who can beat it? Qin Feng shook his head. I originally thought, I will go and kill the boss in a while. I didn't expect someone to get there first. Qin Feng roughly guessed who had killed this boss. Could it be Qin Xiaoyu? After all, she had obtained the relevant memories of her previous life. But what was her motive? Qin Feng couldn't figure it out. In short, let's kill the boss first. Just after killing an epic boss, another epic boss comes. Not bad. Qin Feng narrowed his eyes. However, this boss cannot be killed by me alone. I need someone to help me. I can strip off all its superordinate affixes first to avoid heavy losses in Zhanghai City. The boss Nine Realms Stone Lord Hartman has a very important mechanism, which is immunity to the 3 higher level affixes Whisper, Nightmare, and Chaos. That is to say, Qin Feng cannot use Nightmare to get rid of the invincible state of Bloodlock. The most important thing is, at the beginning of the game, Nine Realms Stone Lord Hartman will create 9 portals. In each portal, there are 3 Diamond Elite Little Stone Men, although it is an elite template, not a boss template. But the control resistance, upper resistance, and the like are also very high. Not the average at this stage. Players can deal with it. There are a total of 27 small stone elites. If all of them exist, the damage suffered by the 9 Realms Stone Lord Hartman outside will be randomly transferred to these small stone men, and the transferred damage will be forcibly reduced to 1 point. In other words, if you don't kill those small stone elites, it is impossible to kill the epic big stone man outside. But the problem comes again. These 27 small stone elites must be killed at the same time within a time interval of no more than 1 second. Otherwise, they will be resurrected as many times as they die. A total of 9 portals, 27 small stone men. Even if it's me, it's impossible to shuttle through so many portals in 1 second to kill all the small elites. This is the key point why Qin Feng didn't think of this boss before. He can't do it alone. At least 9 people must enter the 9 portals separately and kill the diamond level small elites inside at the same time. Ghost, come on. Teleport with me to the Zhanghai ruins. Qin Feng took the ghost spirit with him directly. This girl must be counted. After all, she can handle a portal by herself. As for the others, the Grey Chicken can handle 1 portal. Osirio and Samiya can also handle 1 portal each. That adds up to 4 portals. As for Qin Feng himself, of course he was in charge outside, constantly stripping and holding the boss, so that the boss would not run around and kill people. At this stage, no one except Qin Feng could do this. There are still 5 portals left. Wang Meng and the others can work together to deal with it. Each portal can only allow a team to enter at most, but Wang Meng, An Yu, Xiao Hei, Guichu, and the others, 3 people should be able to deal with 1 portal. If there are still not enough people, we can only let the official arrange it. Qin Feng didn't think too much. Anyway, if there is a shortage of people, he will ask the official for people. He has sold a lot of diamond equipment to the official. It is impossible that he can't even find a few strong people who can deal with diamond level elites. Just when Qin Feng and Guiling set out, the center of the ruins of Zhanghai City, when 9 Realm Stone Governor Hartman was activated by Qin Xiaoyu, countless players around him fled in all directions. And Qin Xiaoyu, naturally, didn't really stay there and wait to die. She turned and ran, trying to find a safe place to hide, waiting for the arrival of the shadow, and then reluctantly apologized. But it was a pity. As the initiator of activating the boss, the first target of the epic boss was her. Qin Xiaoyu just turned around, and suddenly a stone foot fell from the sky and crushed her on the spot. A small lifelight ball burst out from her body, and when she was resurrected at the resurrection point of the Noble Garden hideout in the Knight's Temple 3 seconds later, she was swarmed by several female players and controlled her tightly. Don't move. Be honest. Official personnel are coming. Prepare to go to jail. These female players pressed her to the ground indifferently. Although Qin Xiaoyu kept struggling, her attributes in the game were greatly weakened and she couldn't move at all. She could only shout in exasperation. My brother is Shadow. If you dare to do this to me, you are dead. Hearing this, a long-haired beauty laughed. I said Shadow is my husband. Your brother is Shadow. How did you break your leg? Just over a minute later, a chic female swordsman wearing diamond-level light armor and a jade-level longsword hanging on her waist, riding a black lightning leopard, ran in from the door of the hiding place with an indifferent face. It was the only hidden profession, dragon swordsman. An Yu. After notifying Qin Feng, she passed by here and just came in to convey the order. Very quickly, she turned over from the back of the black lightning leopard, stepped on the grass with a pair of long legs, and walked towards Qin Xiaoyu. Snap. A big slap was slapped directly, and the left side of Qin Xiaoyu's face was slapped red. The epic stone man has the chaos affix, and now more than 200 people have fallen into chaos. An Yu looked at Qin Xiaoyu coldly. You are lucky to be killed by the boss in seconds, but you will not be so lucky next time. She looked at the people around her, and there was a manager of the Knights Temple next to her. That was the middle-aged priest codenamed Reborn K Kandaddy. And you said to him, Chen Wuming is not here. Tell him that we will notify Kyoto in a while and send a hidden professional administrator to deprive this prisoner of his guild. Is that okay? No problem. No problem. When Reborn K Kandaddy heard this, he was overjoyed, and many players of the Knights Temple around him all breathed a sigh of relief. This Xiaoyu is finally going to get out. Originally, they had to support Qin Xiaoyu because of the guild contract, but now that she has committed a crime, she will be handed over to the official for handling, and even the guild will be forcibly deprived. In that case, their guild naturally doesn't have to fulfill its previous obligations. Of course, the profession of administrator is mainly to manage the guild and increase the guild's lifespan, such as reducing the lifespan consumed by guild construction, reducing the transmission consumption, reducing the lifespan dropped by death, and so on. To deprive other players of their guilds, some conditions need to be met. But for the Daxia official, to deprive a prisoner of his guild, they can definitely create conditions. At this time, Anyu looked at Qin Xiaoyu again and sneered. I thought you were quite pitiful. I didn't expect you to do such a thing that harms society. Sure enough, there must be something hateful about pitiful people. Remind you, after the spread of the wasteland, we will detain serious criminals in areas with 100 times the lifespan flow rate and prohibit them from entering the godforsaken game. According to the current situation, you will never get out in this life. As for how long you can live, it depends on how much lifespan you have. And you said as he prepared to leave, Qin Xiaoyu was slapped in the face, and naturally she was dissatisfied. She was angry and toad. She stared at Anyu arrogantly. Why? The official is so great. Why do you have to do anything to me? Let me tell you. Shadow asked me to open this, boss, and you laughed angrily. I just had a private chat with Shadow. How come I didn't know that he asked you to open it? Who are you? When she contacted Qin Feng just now, Qin Feng was obviously surprised. So this matter could not be related to Shadow. Qin Xiaoyu was of course not convinced. She continued to struggle and said, You will know when you see Shadow. You will all have to kneel down for me then. You will not have the chance to see Shadow. And you sneered and waved to Gaosho Nanny. Control her first. After we arrange it, we will let her go offline. We will take her away in reality. The middle-aged priest was stunned when he heard this, and subconsciously asked, what if she refuses to go offline? And Yu was speechless. Are you stupid? If she refuses to go offline, kill her until she goes offline. Do you need me to teach you? Gaosho Nanny. Oh, I know. I will complete the task. After explaining the matter, Anyu turned around and left here. She received a private message from Qin Feng. It was learned that in order to kill this epic boss, this time, other top masters were needed to help deal with the boss mechanism. When she left, Gaosho's dad looked at Qin Xiaoyu, who was controlled by the girls, sighed, and shook his head. Actually, my daughter is about the same age as you. I used to take good care of you, but I didn't expect you to do such a thing. Our guild can't protect you, so you'll have to pray for the best. Gaosho's dad knew that in this matter, this Xiaoyu was definitely a crime endangering public safety. According to the current criminal law of Daxia, if it causes death, the starting sentence is 10 years. For 10 years, being imprisoned in an area with 100 times the life flow rate, it would consume 1,000 years of life. With Qin Xiaoyu's current conditions, it is impossible to afford it. It is even possible that she died just after being sent in and before the trial was over. Gaosho's dad shook his head and stopped thinking about it. At this time, Qin Xiaoyu was no longer as arrogant as before, because she realized one thing. It seemed that she couldn't meet with Shadow now, and couldn't apologize. No, it won't. It's okay. Even if I can't see him, he won't really sit back and watch me get sentenced. He won't ignore me. Qin Xiaoyu kept comforting himself. After Anyu left, he was actually very cautious, in order to ensure that there would be no problems. Anyu thought about it and finally chatted with Qin Feng privately. Master, this Qin Xiaoyu here always says that she is your sister. I want to say that with her current behavior. She is endangering public safety and will definitely be sentenced in the end. Soon, Qin Feng replied. I don't know her. You can deal with it as you want. Okay. With Qin Feng's words, Anyu felt relieved. Today's extra update. Please give me some power for love. QA. To Qin Feng. Qin Xiaoyu was already a complete stranger, no matter how she tried to kill herself. In short, as long as she died, she would automatically appear in the land of judgment. At that time, she would recover her memories of the previous life and face Qin Feng's judgment. Before that, Han Feng would not care about her, let alone save her, and would just let her fend for herself. Now that she has committed such a thing, it can only be said that she has brought trouble upon herself. After replying to Anyu's message, Qin Feng had brought Giling with him and came to the central teleportation array of the ruins of Zhanghai City through the teleportation array. As soon as the two of them teleported over, they heard a chaotic shouting around them. Many official personnel came to protect the people, and many people were fleeing in all directions. Qin Feng invited Giling to join the team. Then he took her out of the teleportation room. Outside, he saw a gray-white stone statue more than 10 meters high, with arms spread out, waving chaotic energy around. It can be seen that Wang Meng, who was in the Holy Shield battle, was holding a sword and shield, blocking the statue and trying to attract its hatred. Facing various attacks from the boss, Wang Meng kept turning and dodging, and actually dodged most of the boss's attacks. At the same time, He could also counterattack and add a small amount of peeling affixes to the boss as the main tank of the team. Wang Meng does not need to be responsible for output, but only needs to attract hatred. In high-level boss battles, he is also responsible for adding the peeling scale to the boss to reduce the peeling pressure of other team members. Of course, in epic boss battles, the boss is a wise existence. Except for the means of attracting hatred such as order and rules, conventional hatred skills are invalid. So now, the Nine Realm Stone Governor Hartman, seeing that he could not quickly solve Wang Meng, simply ignored him. With a raised hand, a rock as big as a hill fell towards the crowd not far away. This boss skill came too fast. Several people were unable to dodge and were directly hit. But these official masters are also quite powerful. Either they have a shield to protect themselves from damage, or they rely on dodging, or they stack elemental shields that are several times their health points. But none of them died. Although they didn't die, the chaos gauge on each of them suddenly soared to 70%, 80%. This is because there are enough players sharing the burden. Otherwise, their chaos gauges would have been directly stacked up. Go, go, go! I can't hold on anymore. This epic boss gauge stacks up too fast. I'm afraid it's too late. It's okay. This boss seems to be quite slow. Everyone quickly retreated. But it was obvious that there was still chaos energy surrounding the Nine Realm Stone Governor, and they might not be able to evacuate safely at their speed. Seeing that after they were hit by a falling rock, the chaos gauge above their heads was about to be stacked up. The official staff who stayed to delay the boss were all a little nervous. But at this moment, without any signs, a stripping gauge suddenly appeared on the giant stone man's head, and the progress bar suddenly increased by more than half. What the hell? Wang Meng watched it clearly from the side, and his eyes widened immediately. A little bit unbelievable. You know, he also has several stripping affixes on him, and his skills also have the effect of increasing the upper gauge, because his skills have a long cooldown time and a slow release speed. The upper gauges he hits have an upper gauge increase of 80%, 200%. 5 stripping affixes can stack 915 stripping gauges. Even so, Wang Meng just operated like a monkey for a long time, and a series of skills were used to hit the Nine Realm Stone Governor. In the end, the stripping gauge of this boss was stacked by less than 1% from the progress bar. It was really just a little bit, but suddenly, the stripping gauge of this boss was stacked by more than half. It shocked Wang Meng directly. Did Shadow attack? Wang Meng thought of the only possibility and took a deep breath. No wonder he could kill so many bosses alone. This stripping ability is too terrifying, right? But the more terrifying thing is yet to come. When the stripping gauge on the boss's head soared by nearly 60%, the boss Stone Man immediately realized something was wrong and began to move. Although this Nine Realm Stone Supervisor is immune to the 3 major control type upper level affixes, the side effect is that it is slow. At this speed, it is impossible to avoid Qinfeng's attack. After just 5 seconds, Qinfeng's attack came again. Another 1,000 blades break. More than 70 attacks directly added more than 5,000 points to the stripping gauge, causing the boss to fall into a state of being trapped on the spot. In the peeled state, all its superordinate affixes will no longer be effective. According to the peeling resistance of this boss, it can last for about 7 seconds after being peeled, but if it is peeled again within 7 seconds, it can be infinitely refilled, so that it will always remain in the peeled state. In these 7 seconds, the chaos gauges of all people around stopped stacking. There was an official little beauty who saw that the chaos gauge above her head had been stacked to 98%, and it would fall into a chaotic state in another second. Suddenly, the gauge stopped growing. Is Shadow here? The code name of the little beauty is Bionic Electronic Little Fox. She had seen Qinfeng before, but she didn't expect to be saved by Qinfeng again. This made the girl look back with admiration. But unfortunately, she couldn't see where Qinfeng was. This is too invincible. When the peeling gauge above the boss's head was full, the official personnel in the field, whether it was Wang Meng or others, were all completely shocked. Originally, they had been able to kill Emerald level boss recently, and even the top teams were already pioneering Diamond boss. Many people were wondering how big the gap was between them and Shadow. As a result, in a blink of an eye, this epic boss that was stripped away instantly made all the official players on the scene recognize the reality. This is Shadow. I'm coming. Just then, another team of official players came over not far away, led by Gu Yishui, who had a snow-white slender owl on her shoulder. Her codename is Snowy Day, and she is the strongest priest profession in Zhonghai City now. No one else? As soon as she arrived, she raised her hand and released a skill towards the official members who had a chaos gauge on the field. A series of white lights fell on those official members, forming a circle of white mist special effects, and began to reduce the chaos gauge by 2% per second. Although the effect is weak, it is better than nothing. After all, this is just a diamond level skill. Even so, this is already one of the extremely important auxiliary skills for other players in the process of opening up new land. At this stage, there are no more than 3 players in the world who can learn this kind of skill. Hey, isn't that your cat head? Osirio, who was parked next to the gray chicken and ready to fight at any time, saw this scene and his eyes lit up immediately, and his pupils emitted excited green light. The gray chicken rode on Osirio's head and looked confused. Then what are you excited about? Osirio smiled and said, if you can catch up with the cat head, Go find her more often in the future to create opportunities for the human assassin and her master, Grey Chicken. Are you really a genius? The two guys, one big and one small, were hiding nearby, not disturbing anyone. They just stared at the Snow White Owl on Gu Yishua's shoulder and commented carefully. But they knew they were fighting the boss now, so they didn't make any moves soon. In addition to Gu Yishua, Black Plum Big Lizzie also rode her goat to the scene. When the incident happened, Wang Meng and others were not leveling outside, but were busy with their own things during the break. As a result, the epic boss was activated, so their team members rushed over from all directions. Finally, Yu and the young sharp-eyed shooter and Carduncle from their team also appeared from another direction. In fact, in this team, the young sharp-eyed shooter and the Carduncle are also very strong. If calculated by DPS, they are both 10,000 or 20,000, and their reaction and speed are far beyond the level of ordinary players. However, Heinfeng never cared about the codenames of these two guys. Of course, this is not important. The important thing is that when all these people arrived, Qinfeng still felt that it was not enough. 9 portals. My people can take care of 4. Wang Meng's team can take care of 2 to 3 at most. To be safe, we have to find someone to help. So Qinfeng privately chatted with Yu and asked about the situation. Soon Yu replied, "We have applied for assistance from the official Magic City. They can take care of 2 portals." And the official Jinling also took the initiative to ask Admiral Feilong to lead a team to help. Okay, that's almost it. Wait for them to arrive. Qinfeng said yes, so he focused on following the boss, constantly moving around to avoid being thrown by the boss's attack, and at the same time constantly releasing Thousand Blade Breaking Strike, constantly stacking the peeling gauge to ensure that the boss is always in a peeled state. In this case, no matter how the boss runs, it can't cause chaos to the players. Even if the players are killed, the players will only lose some lifespans, which is not a big impact at this stage. This made the 9 Realms Stone Governor Hartman anxious and howling with howls. It kept swinging its giant arms, trying to find the rat hidden next to it, but it couldn't even touch a hair of Qinfeng. After just 3 minutes, 2 teams from the ruins of the Demon City arrived. One was the top team of the Daxia Navy, led by Wanye Weiyu, with Wanye Weiyu as the head of the 6 people, directly responsible for a portal. The other was a middle-aged man with the codename, "You Are Already Dead." This codename, although Qinfeng had never seen him in this life, he was actually very familiar with him, because this guy was one of the strong men who went to the Land of Order in the previous life. You Are Already Dead, known as the Beidou Man, is ranked in the top 10 in the world. In the end, he was also one of the 3 top strong men who went to the Land of Order in the scope of Daxia. However, this man was very low-key, an official member of the Demon City, and a member of the military before the advent of the godforsaken game. His profession is the only hidden profession, the internal boxer. This profession has the special effect of ignoring defense, and his talent is also an emerald level talent. He has been developing silently and has not been well known in the previous life. It was not until the middle and late stages, when everyone challenged the road to the abyss, that people learned his name. When the Beidou Man and his team arrived at the Zhanghai ruin, he was wearing a martial arts uniform, his eyes were bright, and he was looking for Qinfeng all over the place. Obviously, this person has a bit of a martial arts fanatic personality and wants to find the trace of Shadow. It's a pity that he could only see the boss being played around in the field, and couldn't see where Shadow was at all. Then, it was the Flying Dragon Admiral who teleported from the Jinling ruins with his team. When I saw this man again, his little flying dragon had grown a little bit, but it was still not ready to ride. Everyone is here. Let's get started. Qinfeng didn't waste any time at all. There were always 9 portals floating in the air around the boss, and Qinfeng started to assign them directly. Ghost, you go to this one. Osirio, you go to that one. Then, Qinfeng grabbed the gray chicken by the neck and threw it towards the 3rd portal. Go, ga! The gray chicken flapped its wings and rushed into the portal and disappeared. Then, Heinfeng found an empty space and summoned the snake girl, Samia. To his side? What's the matter? Samia gave Qinfeng a cold look. Go in and kill the monsters for me, and listen to my command. Qinfeng pointed to a portal. First beat the monster to a low health, and then kill it when I ask you to. Got it. Samia nodding coldly. Then she swam towards a portal. Her posture was enchanting, especially her waist, which was the connection between the human body and the snake tail. Extremely slender. This scene shocked many people around. Oh my god, isn't this the long-tailed snake demon killed by Shadow? It turned into a mount. It is said that this thing is causing trouble in Sakura country, and it is very popular. A group of people were shocked, but at the same time, they were also a little uncomfortable. 9 portals, 4 of which were directly occupied by Qinfeng's people, even a pet and 2 mounts. The other portals, however, require the strongest top team of Daxia to handle. This is the gap. Everyone sighed. They thought they were top-notch, enough to surpass all players in the world. But in the end, their combat power could only be compared with Qinfeng's pets and mounts. Then, Yu, Guisha and Xiaohei entered a portal together. Wang Meng, the young sharp-eyed shooter, and the Carduncle entered a portal together. In addition, Wang Wei, you are already dead, and Admiral Fei Long. The three of them also led their teams into the last three portals. Qin Feng pulled these people into a team for easy communication in the team channel. Qin Feng took over the command. After you enter the door, you should see 3 small stone elites. First, prepare their blood volume to residual blood, and ensure that the blood volume can be killed within 1 second. Report the number after completion in the team channel. Gu Yishuk smiled. Master, can your pet do it? That gray chicken is so small. Don't worry. It's already done over there. Just waiting for you, Qin Feng said casually. This made everyone in the team stunned. And you, Wang Meng? Admiral Fei Long, when they entered the portal, they saw 3 diamond-level small stone elites, and they were all level 30. The blood volume reached 3 to 4 million. They all come with the superordinate affix of chaos, although the affix is not strong. It is also a point that must be paid attention to. Although their team is top-notch in the world, it still takes 1 or 2 minutes to complete. As a result, Shadow's Grey Chicken pet has been completed. What kind of damage is this? People are not as good as pets. The group of people are all desperate. This is perfectly normal for Qin Feng. Because the Grey Chicken can inherit all his professional characteristics, it can attack in stealth without breaking stealth. But it can get a bonus to breaking stealth attack. And it also has a triple damage increase when it is not in the target's field of vision. In addition, the Grey Chicken is now level 30, and its own attributes have grown to more than 1. 500 points? A mouthful of hellfire can cause hundreds of thousands of damage per second. After just a few seconds, the Grey Chicken has already become invisible and spit fire, burning the 3 little stone elites, who were confused to residual blood. Even the opponent can't see the flames spewed by the Grey Chicken, because it is completely invisible. As for the other portals, there is no need to say more about the Ghost Spirit. She has killed even the diamond level boss. So 3 diamond level elites, with less than 1/10 of the boss's blood volume, are naturally no problem. And Osiris and Samaya are also epic mounts. Although their combat power has been weakened due to the mount template, they still have no problem dealing with diamond elites, and the damage is not low. Especially Samaya. Her skill void damage is very strong, and the total damage is stronger than Osirios. Fortunately, Osirios can summon 12 minions, so the speed of reducing the little stone man to residual blood in the end was about the same as Samaya, and it took more than 20 seconds. Then, it took about a minute. And you, Wang Meng, Fei Long Admiral and the team you are already dead reported the number at about the same time, indicating that the preparations were completed. The speed of the 5 teams was about the same. The fastest was still the team of you are already dead. After all, this person was strong enough, but it does not mean that Anyu and Wang Meng's team are weak, because Anyu and Wang Meng's teams only had 3 people in. It is conceivable that the output of the members of these 2 teams is about twice that of other teams. I will start when I count to 1, and kill the little elite together. Qin Feng commanded in the team channel and counted down. These players are the top elites of the official team, and Qin Feng believes in their execution ability just when he counted to 1. Just a few tenths of a second later, he saw 9 portals emitting white light suddenly dissipate. Everyone who entered the portal was teleported out of the portal, and the boss entered a state where it could be harmed just at this time. They just wanted to see how Shadow would beat the boss. Result. Players Shadow Daxia, Ghost Daxia, Justice Execution Daxia, Snowy Day Daxia, Late Night Rain Daxia, Impermanence Daxia killed the epic boss, 9 Realms Stone Governor Hartman, and gained 100 reputation points. Accompanied by the system prompt heard by everyone in the world, the giant stone statue with a height of more than 10 meters fell down. Poor Hartman! Before he could react to what happened, he was killed instantly by Qin Feng after his invincibility mechanism was broken. If not long ago, Qin Feng couldn't kill this boss in seconds. In that case, he would have to go through the portal mechanism again. But now, he directly robbed the Holy Hand and stole 20% of the boss's attributes, and then instantly cast the set of Killing Shadows. And the terrifying burst just killed it instantly. The last instant destruction directly burst 520 million damage and cleared the boss's health bar. So, a total of 26 people received the reward for killing this epic boss, and shared the experience points of this boss equally. Qin Feng didn't care about this. It was a benefit of asking the official for help. If there was no official help, Qin Feng would really have a hard time killing this thing. Of course, the experience was given, and the life and loot dropped by the boss, of course, belonged to Qin Feng. When people looked towards the boss, Qin Feng had already released the Hand of Greed, collected all the spoils, then cancelled his invisibility and walked out from the huge corpse of the boss. This scene made everyone in the field freeze in their tracks. No, where is the health bar of the boss? What about the health bar? The corpse is all bald. Can it take 1 second? We just finished beating the little elite inside, and someone killed the boss in seconds. Everyone wanted to cry but had no tears. Even for Anyu, Gu Yaisha, Lin Liu, and others. This scene was extremely shocking, because not long ago, Qin Feng took them to kill the epic giant octopus, and it took 2 sets to kill the boss. As a result, now, 1 set killed it in seconds. It might even be just half a set. The god's improvement speed is too fast, isn't it? How can this damage be so fast again? Doubled. My eyes are watering. We are happy all day long when our damage increases by 10%. but they just double their damage all the time. How can we live like this? Black Plum. Big Plum wanted to cry but had no tears. Just when the huge corpse of Nine Realms Stone Governor fell, cheers of countless players came from the surrounding ruins. Shadow. 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 I love you. Shadow is invincible. From afar, all kinds of admiring, worshipping, and crazy cheers came from all directions. The players who were originally driven away by the boss never thought that this boss would be solved so quickly. They originally thought of the ruins of Haicheng before, where an epic boss got angry and caused so many deaths. They thought that Zhanghai would also face a disaster this time. Unexpectedly, the boss was killed by Shadow in seconds. No matter when, a heroic figure who can save everyone will inevitably be worshipped crazily by people. Now it's a bit of an inside taste. Even not only ordinary players, but even the official elites present admire Qinfeng with all their heart. Suddenly, the middle-aged man, "You are dead," walked out of the crowd with a burning look in his eyes and came to Qinfeng.
Brother,
I want to punch you and try the damage. Can you give me a chance? Qinfeng glanced at this man and was a little surprised. Of course, but one punch may not be enough. One punch can last 100 years of life, no matter how many punches you throw. It's not that Qinfeng is easy to talk to, it's that Qinfeng knows that this person is a martial arts fanatic. He doesn't want to offend Qinfeng, but really wants to try to hurt him. In this case, why not satisfy the other party's curiosity and earn some life, by the way? Of course. The more life, the better. Okay. The middle-aged inner boxer nodded very straightforwardly and came to Qinfeng with a serious look. Don't worry. If I beat you to death, I won't pick up the life you lost, and I can even compensate you some. Talk about it after you can beat me to death. Qinfeng was a little helpless. At this time, Wang Yueyu was a little worried when she saw this. She secretly chatted with Qinfeng. Be careful, master. This person's damage is outrageous. The professional passive completely ignores defense. The second advancement ignores shields, including damage-free shields. And the third advancement has a guaranteed hit effect. Your damage-free shield and dodge are useless. It's okay. He can't beat me, and I earned life for nothing. Qinfeng smiled and replied, He is from your official Modu. You won't feel sorry for the life of your official, right? Wang Yueyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How is it possible he must have paid for this behavior himself? And it has nothing to do with the official, since Qinfeng said so. Wang Yueyu was relieved. But in fact, she was still a little scared, because she and You Are Dead are both top powerhouses of the official Madu, and they know the strength of this colleague very well. Usually, the output to the boss is as high as 100,000 damage with one punch. Not only Wang Yueyu, there are many official players around, and seeing Qinfeng so confident, they are also looking forward to it. This is the Beidou man from Modu. It is said that the highest damage per second against the boss is more than 90,000. The most important thing is that he directly ignores shields and dodges. He is the nemesis of many assassins. Does Shadow not know his ability and is too confident? In fact, Qinfeng was not worried about being injured by this man, because Qinfeng knew very well the characteristics of the profession of internal boxer, and he could not do anything to him at present. Why refuse someone who wants to die? Just here, when countless people were nervous and expecting, in the Knight's Temple, Chen Wuming had returned to the hiding place and saw the controlled Qin Xiaoyu. At this time, Qin Xiaoyu naturally heard the killing prompt of the Nine Realm Stone supervisor and kept saying, You can't restrict my personal freedom. I want to see Shadow. In fact, when Qin Xiaoyu said this, even she herself felt that it was a luxury. But Chen Wuming smiled and waved his hand. Okay, let her go. The female players who held her down all let go and stepped back. Qin Xiaoyu was stunned. Then she quickly thought of something, immediately raised her chin, and smiled proudly. Did Shadow ask you to let me go? I knew he wouldn't ignore me. He was just busy killing the boss first. Chen Wuming was a little speechless when he saw her like this, and the people around were even a little nervous. Gao Shou's dad lowered his voice and asked, Boss, is she really Shadow's sister? Sister, your sister. Chen Wuming was defeated by the IQ of his men and covered his face and said, The official people have arrived, and she should go offline. You have been holding her down and keeping her in combat mode. How can she go offline? This made the people around him breathe a sigh of relief. Besides, what is Shadow busy with? Chen Wuming waved his hand. The boss was killed in seconds. Why should he care about you? Who are you? Hurry up and go offline. These words made Qin Xiaoyu, who was just arrogant, dumbfounded. She thought Qinfeng wanted to see her. Unexpectedly, it was the official who came and wanted her to go offline. You can imagine, once she goes offline, she will be controlled by the official, and she will definitely not have the chance to see Qinfeng again. No, I can't go offline. Qin Xiaoyu made up her mind. I must see Qinfeng and apologize to him. However, she didn't say it stubbornly. After all, she saw that no matter how tough she was, Chen Wuming would not let her go. So she simply changed her strategy. He immediately started to act pitiful, and his voice became hoarse. That Mr. President, I really have something to see Shadow. Can I see him once? Just once. It won't be a loss to you. Chen Wuming was a little shocked. It was the first time he saw Qin Xiaoyu being so humble. but he didn't care and laughed. Don't. I still like your unruly look, although you said so. I can't help it. I'm just an employee. If you really have something to say, you can talk to the official people. Chen Wuming didn't want to take the blame again. He was even a little scared. If he hadn't tried to drag Qin Xiaoyu away before this epic boss was activated, this matter might really make their Knights Temple Guild take the blame. Fortunately, Wang Meng ran into it and stopped it. Chen Wuming couldn't help but sigh. Brother Wang is a nobleman. Now he doesn't have to take the blame himself. Then I'll go find him myself. Qin Xiaoyu turned around and walked towards the entrance of the hiding place. Unfortunately, she was too slow, slower than ordinary people, and Chen Wuming just moved his feet and stopped her. Then, took out a two-handed axe from the backpack, which looked a bit like a chainsaw. Are you going to log off? At this moment, Chen Wuming, holding a saw-like axe, looked ferocious and fierce, which made Qin Xiaoyu think of the day when she lost her leg. I'm going to log off. I'm going to log off. Qin Xiaoyu immediately cried and chose to log off. When she went off, she lowered her head. No one saw the unwilling hatred in her eyes. Wait! When Qinfeng forgives me, I will kill you all. She thought to herself. Then, after a burst of white light, she returned to reality. She was lying on the hospital bed. Just as she came back to reality, she felt the coldness of the bed. Her legs were empty, and her whole body felt as if it was torn apart. In the game and outside the game, it seemed like two different worlds. Although her attributes in the game were greatly reduced, she was still a normal person after all. But outside the game, she just felt that everything was cold, which made her not want to come back. The most important thing was, at this time, many official personnel had gathered around her, seeing that she was offline. They came up and handcuffed her hands. These handcuffs are a new product from the Book of Divine Revelation. Once handcuffed, they will be silenced and unable to release any skills. In this state, the controlled prisoner cannot go online to enter the game, and it is difficult to harm others in reality. Originally, I would handcuff her feet, but she has no feet, so forget it. The official said something. Then two women came forward and forcibly took Qin Xiaoyu away, and Qinfeng didn't care about Qin Xiaoyu's existence at all. At this time, Qinfeng was just looking at the "you are dead" in front of him leisurely. He was a middle-aged man with a square face, and he looked very serious. Before the fight, he took a stance. The human assassin is too confident. To be honest, I think it would be fun to see him being beaten. Osirio watched with great interest. The gray chicken squatted on its head and nodded in agreement. Osirio is right. There was also the cold snake girl, Samiya, who also came out of the portal after completing her mission. Her 7-meter-tall body was leaning against a bell tower. Like Osirio, she attracted a lot of attention. They all knew this very charming snake girl, the skull pterosaur, and even the gray little thing on the top of the bone pterosaur, all killed 3 small stone man elites in a portal alone, and the processing speed was very fast. These are all the strengths of Shadow. In addition to Qinfeng's pets and mounts, who were ready to watch the fun, there were other official personnel around who were also looking forward to this duel. This kind of scene has never appeared before. Our big brother Beidu's upper limit of damage with one punch is 200,000. Yes, but that's because you can't hit the Emerald Boss. The maximum damage against the Emerald Boss is just over 100. Only, brother, how did you say that? You usually hit 30,000 at most against the Emerald Boss, which is considered a burst. That depends on who the opponent is. Now Shadow has just dealt hundreds of millions of damage. What's 100,000? No, don't get it wrong. Now it's not about Shadow's output. It's about Shadow's defense. That's right, Shadow is an assassin. It's impossible for him to have 100,000 HP, right? No matter how high his defense and elemental resistance are, they will be penetrated by Brother Beidu, and shields and dodges will not work. I think Shadow is gonna die. Everyone whispered and talked about it. Of course, these are the opinions of some players from the Magic City. Apart from them, no matter they were from Zhanghai City or Admiral Fei Long from Jinling, they were not optimistic about "you are dead." Shadow has never fought a battle that he was not sure of, and you chuckled. Wang Meng and others were also watching the show leisurely, with smiles on their faces, not worried about Qinfeng getting into trouble at all. Here we go! Watch out. The square-faced middle-aged man was very martial and gave a reminder before he made his move. He sank his waist and began to stack various buff states on himself. War. An invisible flame enveloped "you're already dead," increasing his melee damage by 15%. Fists. His fist glowed red, gaining a 30% increase in fist damage. War cry. With a roar, he gave himself another attack speed and attack power boost. Excitement. Lightning wrapped around his body and finally gathered on his fist, making all his attacks add 20% lightning damage. Finally, he condensed white light in his hand, gathered into a fist of light, and punched Qinfeng's chest with a bang. It's no exaggeration to say that Qinfeng almost fell asleep waiting. The opponent had too many monkey tricks before this punch, right? Then, boom! The opponent punched Qinfeng's chest heavily, but it didn't cause any reaction. It looked like a powerful punch, but it was just a lot of thunder and little rain. It fell on Qinfeng's chest, and then nothing happened. Qinfeng stood there, motionless. The square-faced middle-aged man was shocked. This is impossible. How could there be no damage at all? Qinfeng didn't know how to explain it to him, because the profession of the internal boxer does not deal physical damage, but special internal injuries, which belong to blood element damage, and it is not settled immediately. Instead, The damage is settled after a delay of 1 second. In other words, after the punch hits the target, a negative state of internal injury will be added to the target, and then 1 second later, this negative state will explode, causing blood element damage. This is the damage principle of the internal boxer. Because of this, Qinfeng is not afraid of the opponent at all. After all, Qinfeng's inviolable affix can offset all the negative states he suffers. Therefore, the internal injury state cannot take effect on Qinfeng. As for the direct physical damage of the opponent's punch, the damage is too low and can be ignored for Qinfeng. Of course, except for Qinfeng. No one else present knew this. After all, the general inviolable affix can only offset the control effect, but cannot offset other negative effects, such as reduced attack, reduced defense, continuous damage, etc. The current official players have also studied the inviolable affix. I didn't know that the inviolable affix on Qinfeng was so abnormal. You should know that this is a special effect attached to the legendary leather armor in the previous life. It was a late-stage equipment that someone could obtain after 5 or 6 years. As for the physical impact force attached to the opponent's punch, for Qinfeng, it has even less effect. How could the impact force brought by the few hundred points of strength shake Qinfeng's more than 3,000 points of physique? Qinfeng had just stolen 20% of the boss's attributes, and the effect has not ended yet. More than 3,000 physique. More than 4,000 strength. The damage resistance attribute brought by more than 3,000 physical strength alone is more than 3,000, which means that any damage below this value is ineffective against Qinfeng. For the current players, Qinfeng is like a mountain just standing there. The physical damage of that punch is not even a tickle for Qinfeng, and even the Shadow Arc Light is useless. When the punch was thrown, Qinfeng was unscathed, and everyone around him gasped. Just now, someone was bragging about how high the damage of the "You Are Dead" punch was. In a blink of an eye, he was slapped in the face. But what shocked everyone was not this, but the blood bar of the shadow in their eyes was really motionless. Good guy. Not even a single drop of blood. How did he block it? Could it be that Shadow's defense is so high? I know Shadow won't be killed, but he won't lose any blood at all, right? Why do I feel that this scene looks funny? I'm not the only one who feels this way. Am I? People were stunned and felt that this scene was completely different from what they imagined. Just then, the square-faced middle-aged man quickly calmed down after being shocked, and while calmly retracted his fist, he said in a deep voice, as expected of Shadow, "I can't hurt you at all. I'm Shen Beidou. I admire you. By the way, my last name is Shen. The Shen of ginseng, not the Shen of participation." After saying this, the middle-aged man's teammates behind him immediately reacted. A young man suddenly realized and said in shock in the team channel, "So that's how it is. Brother, you really have a high EQ. It's not that you can't beat Shadow. You just give him face, praise him, and get along well with him." The middle-aged man, Ken Beidou, twitched his mouth. Shut up. And Qinfeng didn't know about the chat in their team. Seeing the middle-aged man's calmly withdrawing his fist, and hearing his self-introduction, he nodded a little puzzled. "Okay, Ken Beidou. You just hit me once. A few more punches. Maybe I can only block one of your punches. And you can't block the second punch? This is very tempting." But Ken Beidou laughed and waved his hand. "No need. One punch is enough." He was thinking in his heart, this Shadow is very bad, and he wants to cheat him of more life. He raised his hand and traded 100 years of life to Qinfeng. When trading, the corners of his mouth twitched a little, and he was obviously a little painful. Although for a top player like him, 100 years is not impossible to take out, but giving it to others like this, his heart is still bleeding. So, Qinfeng took the 100 years of life with a little regret, although it's not much. You can't let someone hit you in vain, right? Now, everything is done. The crisis of the ruins of Zhanghai City was also quickly resolved under Qinfeng's action, and Admiral Feilong and Kan Beidou said goodbye and left. Then, and you brought Gu Yishui and others to Qinfeng, and you said softly, "Master, we have arrested the culprit who activated the boss?" According to the current situation, official statistics show that a total of 312 people have fallen into chaos due to the attack of the boss, although these people began to attack other players around them indiscriminately. Our official has already helped to control these players in chaos. After 2 days of chaos, some people may not be able to hold on and starve to death in reality. If according to the previous laws, the culprit who created all this will face at least 10 years of fixed term imprisonment, and in serious cases, even life imprisonment or even death penalty. As far as we know, the girl's situation is not very good. She doesn't have much life left. Once sentenced, she probably won't last for a few days. Hearing this, Qinfeng understood that this was Anyu's last request for his opinion. Obviously, the authorities have guessed that there may be some connection between Shadow and Qin Xiaoyu. If Qinfeng is willing to speak up, then Qin Xiaoyu will most likely be saved. But of course, Qinfeng can't say this. Qinfeng asked instead, "You said this according to the previous laws. What about the current laws?"